Union government has filed a detailed affidavit before the Supreme Court stating that the Health Ministry and the Indian Council of Medical Research have together come out with guidelines on issuing COVID-19 death certificates. The directions in the judgment passed by the Apex Court on 30th June were issued by a bench comprising Justice Ashok, Bhushan and M.R. Shah in the cases Gaurav Kumar Bansal versus Union of India and Reepak Kansal versus Union of India and others. The two separate pleas had sought directions to the centre and the states to provide ex gratia monetary compensation of Rs 4 lakhs to the family members of the deceased come to COVID-19 as per MHA letter in the view of Section 12 of the Disaster Management Act 2005. The petitioner in his plea filed before the Supreme Court had sought immediate appropriate directions to the concerned authorities to pay financial help as laid down by the central government in its statute and rules to the family members of the deceased who succumbed to COVID-19 pandemic. The top court had in its last hearing on August 16 also allowed the plea of the central government seeking 4 weeks more time to frame the guidelines on ex gratia assistance and compensation to the families of people who died due to COVID-19. The Apex Court had directed the centre to submit any action report on the other guidelines as referred in the earlier judgment authored by Justice Shah and comprising of Justice Ashok Bhushan on 30th June 2021. A 3-judge bench of the Apex Court had on 30th June 2021 directed the NDMA to ascertain with 6 weeks whether an ex gratia amount can be paid to the family members of those who died due to COVID victim. The Apex Court has also said in its judgment that the National Disaster Management Authority is statutorily mandated to provide the minimum amount of relief, including an ex gratia amount of compensation to the COVID victims. On September 3rd, the court had expressed displeasure at the central government for its delay in issuing the guidelines for COVID death certificates. A 2-judge bench of the Apex Court, headed by Justice M.R. Shah and also comprising Justice Anuradha Bose, had granted 10 more days further time to the centre to frame and formulate uniform guidelines for issuance of death certificates with regard to those who succumbed to COVID-19. Compliance affidavit was filed before the Supreme Court on 11 September. Guidelines for official document for COVID-19 death. COVID-19 cases for the purpose of these guidelines are those which are diagnosed through a positive RT-PCR molecular test, right over clinically determined through investigations in a hospital inpatient facility by treating physician while admitted in the hospital inpatient facility. Deaths occurring due to poisoning, suicide, homicide or due to accident will not be considered as COVID-19 deaths even if COVID-19 is an accompanying condition. What is COVID death? Scenario-based approach and interventions. COVID-19 cases which are not resolved and have died either in hospital settings or at home. Deaths occurring within 30 days from the date of testing or from the date of being clinically determined as a COVID-19 case. A COVID-19 case while admitted in the hospital, inpatient facility and who continued as the same admission beyond 30 days. In cases where the disease is not satisfied, a committee at district level will decide, consisting of additional district collector, chief medical officer of health, additional CMOH, principal or HOD of medicine of a medical college. The committee will follow these procedures. The next of kin of the deceased shall submit a petition to the district collector for issuance of the appropriate official document for COVID-19 death. The official document for COVID-19 death will be issued in the format annexed to these guidelines by the aforesaid district level committee after due examination and verification of all facts. The official document for COVID-19 death shall also be communicated to chief registrars of states and registrar of birth and death who issued the death certificate. The committee shall also examine the grievances of the next of kin of the deceased and propose necessary remedial measures including issuance of amended official document for COVID-19 death after verifying facts in accordance with these guidelines. The application for issuance of official document for COVID-19 death and for redressal of grievances shall be disposed of within 30 days of submission of the application grievance. The Apex Court fixed the matter for further hearing on September 13.
Never miss a medical update from Medical Dialogues. Like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.